Have you had a strong, insatiable desire to play by ear? A fire that cannot be put out? A burning passion and fascination with being able to hear and play music? To pick out the songs you hear on the radio or your favorite album on your own without sheet music or help from someone else? Or perhaps you want to be able to listen to something and instantly be able to know what's going on in your mind without having to be at the piano? Or if someone starts singing a song you've never played before, you can follow along because you easily hear what chords go with what melody notes they're singing? Or if you play at church, imagine being able to pick up a song the worship leader decides to sing at the spur of the moment. Or maybe if a friend sits down and starts playing something, you know exactly what's going on and can even play it back almost immediately with unshakable confidence and pizzazz. Have you desired these things? But unfortunately, you keep running into a brick wall when it comes to unlocking your ear's ability to effectively recognize and quickly execute on what you hear. And if you're like many others, you can't help but continue to think something is missing, but you just don't know what it is. Well, I'm about to reveal what I believe is the formula for playing by ear. Now, I have to warn you, these two steps are simple, but not necessarily easy unless you know how to approach them. There is a difference. You see, playing by ear is achieved when knowledge of the components of music meets up with efficient ear training. That's right, applied music theory plus effective ear training equals playing by ear. And I prefer to say components of music because there are countless ear players playing for renowned artists and events, even right now, that may not be super proficient in traditional music theory, but have still made sense of the components of music in their own special way. There's no denying this. Now, the components of music include things like notes, scales, intervals, chords and their degrees, chord patterns, or what we call progressions, and the relationship between those chords. Think of these as the words of a language. After all, music is a language, and in studying any language, you've got to know the basic components, like words and phrases that make up that language. The good news is, this is the easy part, in my humble opinion, because once you know this information, you just know it. There's no guesswork. Certain chords are comprised of certain notes, and they never change. And the truth is, I've never met someone who was determined to learn this fail to master part one, which is the knowledge of the components of music. But do you want to know where most would-be ear players fall way short? Yep, you guessed it, the ear training part. The recognition of those musical components out in the real world. It's the difference in knowing Spanish words and phrases only in your mind versus really being able to recognize them out in public and respond in the moment when the time comes. Playing by ear is very, very similar. Most folks think playing by ear is about having what we call perfect pitch, but this couldn't be further from the truth, and I'll tell you why in a second. The truth is, only 1 in 10,000 people, that's a measly 1% of 1%, have perfect pitch. And if perfect pitch was a prerequisite to playing by ear, at this rate of 1% of 1% of people in the world, no one would be able to do it. Perfect pitch is being able to recognize and identify a musical note without having a reference. For example, it's the ability to just know what a C or D or E sounds like without relying on hearing it or any other related note. But you do not need this skill in order to truly play by ear. In fact, in some cases, it can be an annoyance because folks with perfect pitch can't stand hearing pianos that are out of tune or any notes that aren't tonally correct. So if you don't need perfect pitch, then what do you need in order to build your ear skills to the point where you can play by ear? You need, drumroll please, what we call relative pitch. Relative pitch is knowing what a tone or chord is by its relationship to another tone or reference that you're familiar with. For example, if I'm in the key of C and know what C sounds like because I played it on the piano, which has now given me a reference point, relative pitch is the ability to know what all other notes should sound like based on what I know about C. It's like a contractor being great at measuring what 3 or 6 feet looks like from its current point. After a while, the contractor can probably point at a location and know that it's 3 feet away or 5 feet away. And when they get there, they know what's another 3 feet in a different direction, so on and so forth. Relative pitch pretty much works in the same way. In this example, by knowing what C sounds like, I should then be able to sing or know in my head what D, E, F, G, A, and B sound like. If I then arrive at E, I should know what other notes sound like in relation to E. This is very important when trying to follow the bass of a song. In other words, it's a game of knowing distances. Just like that contractor, you should be able to hear two notes and know their distance, or what we call interval. This is relative pitch and what's really needed in order to play by ear. And that's all we're trying to do, is listen and recognize what chords, which are just notes played together, are moving to each other. Once we've gotten good and can understand and recognize distances in music, learning new songs comes really easy to us. So how do you get good at recognizing notes, intervals, and chords? The same way an NBA player gets good at shooting free throws, or how a ballerina masters a pirouette. Well, you ready for the answer? Wait for it. You practice. The only problem is practicing ear training is not like practicing basketball or dancing. Unlike basketball, where you know when you're getting good because the ball goes in the hoop, you need someone or something to quiz you on the music and then tell you if you're right or wrong, getting better or worse. If you're like most students, someone, quote, may be out of question unless you want to pay $30 to $50 per week in lessons, or over $120 to $200 a month to get that personal feedback. As much as this would be a great way to improve, it's just simply out of reach for many students. But what about something? A tool that will quiz you relentlessly on the different notes and scale tones, intervals, chords, and even chord progressions, so that you're an ear-recognizing machine capable of picking out anything you hear in a second's notice. Transforming into an ear-recognizing machine is what I've done for myself. This is what I've done for others around the world. And this is what I believe I can do for you. Introducing Ear Tutor, the ultimate ear training tool designed specifically for ear players wanting to master the real-life components of music by listening. It gamifies the ear training process, turning it from a boring, tedious task into a fun, interactive, and immersive experience, helping you to unlock your ear's power faster and easier than ever before. Hi, I'm Jermaine Griggs, founder of HearAndPlay.com, and I've just invested a pretty penny in the last 14 months designing a revolutionary tool that's going to change the way you train your ear forever. It essentially transforms your computer into an ear training conditioning coach who's going to work you out as much as you want without tiring, without charging, and while adapting intelligently to your progress. As you'll soon see, it's the most comprehensive and adaptive tool of its kind, specifically designed for ear players who want to continuously improve their ear skills and ability to recognize musical components. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me show you Ear Tutor in action. I can talk about it all I want, but you've got to see it to believe it. So here we are in Ear Tutor, and you'll notice that it has our award-winning virtual keyboard at the bottom. This is how you answer the questions. Depending on your skill level, you'll have to answer 10 questions per exercise, 20 questions, or even 30 questions. I happen to have it on easy mode, right? But it comes automatically on medium mode, which makes you answer 20 questions, right? As you can see in this example here. You keep up with a score, and every exercise actually gives you a score, and it's based on how fast you answer each question, how accurate you are. So if you get answers wrong, your score resets back to the beginning. You have to start all over, and you're penalized. So you start with 5 stars, which gives you the maximum amount of points per question you can get. But as you start getting more and more wrong, you'll go down to 4, 3, 2, even 1 or 0 stars, which makes it very, very hard to accumulate points, right? So you can use this as a gauge as to whether you're getting better or worse with your ear training as you progress through the lessons. So I've just been playing around with it, and you can see here I got a 154 on the first exercise. So let's go to the second exercise of this first lesson, family, and see how we do. This is testing us between C and D, and it's using multiple octaves as opposed to the first exercise, which just used a single octave. I think I hear a D. That changed, so it's probably a C. That sounds like a D. Ah, the bridge. The bridge is when you get to the halfway point. It's kind of like an accomplishment so that if you get any of the questions wrong after the bridge, you don't go all the way back to the beginning. So in this case, if I would have got any answer wrong, I would have to go back to 1. This really comes to play when you're answering 20 questions in a row or 30 questions in a row if you feel like challenging yourself. So I don't remember the question, so I'm going to click this repeat button here, right? And that sounds like C. Notice I'm not using my mouse. You can also type in the letter, right? That's another way to do it. Or you can click, or you can choose the note here. So there's multiple ways to play the game. That's a D. I finished the lesson, right? So now I get to go on to 1.3. And as you can see, it's strategically adding more and more notes. So this is step by step. You don't have to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to feel like you need to know everything. You'll start with just 2 notes. Look, if it's not C, it's D. Even if you open the program, you get the first one wrong, choose the other one, right? It doesn't get easier than that. But then as you start adding notes, now your brain starts making the connections between the different tones of the scale. And we don't just talk about major scales. The next lesson introduces the minor scale. For example, if I want to go to 1.4, well, that's multiple octaves. 1.5 introduces the minor scale, right? So let's see what this sounds like. That sounds like, I think that's E flat. E. That's C. That's C, D, E. Past the bridge. See? And if you listen, right, you start hearing melody lines as well. You start hearing the difference. If you heard that E flat sounds bluesy, right? So that'll be something you'll use in a blues scale or minor scale in the future. So you start hearing these things and you start making the connections. I've had my daughter, she's 12, my son who's 7, my other daughter who's 8. They all have their own profiles, which I'll talk about later. And they go through the program, and it's even easy for them to start hearing the differences between the notes at their age. That's the point of ear training. And not only do we do degrees, but like I said, we do intervals. So what does that sound like? I think that's a perfect 5th. See, but when you hear that finality, or it sounds like it sounds like you're ending something, that's a perfect 4th going up. That sounds like a perfect 4th as well. Now remember, you can also type in P. You don't have to click it. So I can go P5 on my computer. That sounds like a P4. Right, so past the bridge, gotta love it. So as you can see, these lessons are very, very easy. You just have to do it. It's like Michael Jordan shooting that shot, or a ballerina or a dancer working on their skills. You have to sit here and you have to work on your skills. And over time, you'll see your ear unlock. As you can see, these are adaptable and interactive exercises that are guaranteed to deliver proven results the first time you use them. Comprising over 775 exercises divided into 4 lesson families, you're taken by the hand and trained from the very basics, like hearing the difference between 2 notes, to more advanced things like chord qualities, progressions, melodic lines, and more. You'll be able to keep up with your score for every lesson to see if you're improving or not. You can choose between easy, medium, and hard skill levels, and test between single and harmonic intervals, which are just notes played at the same time. You'll get to focus on where you need the most improvement with our artificially intelligent engine. You get to graduate from single note degrees to intervals, chords, and progressions, and master every component of music, lesson by lesson, step by step. Things like individual notes, melodic intervals, ascending intervals, descending intervals, major seconds, minor thirds, major thirds, perfect 4ths and 5ths, harmonic thirds, chords, major scales, major chords, minor scales, diminished triads, 2-5-1 progressions, multiple octaves, minute triads, extended chords, 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, 13th chords, 1, 2, and 3 note melody lines, chromatic tones, chords and melody, and so much more are included in the exercises of this revolutionary program. All divided into 4 strategic lesson families: degrees mastery, intervals mastery, chords mastery, and progressions mastery, so that the entire scope of ear training is covered and you never miss a beat. And best of all, do it at your own pace with your own private ear conditioning coach, ready to deliver proven results for you. Finally, you'll be able to train to become a better listener of what's going on in songs. You'll be able to build your ear skills to improvise and be able to transcribe solos by ear. You'll be able to develop your ear training abilities to be able to hear any interval, which will allow you to follow the bass of any song you hear, which essentially tells you what's going on in the song. Improve your ability to sing melody lines in intervals, as I believe if you can hear it, you can sing it, and if you can sing it, you can play it. Make determining the key of a song an easy task once and for all, and learn and play songs at record speed with your newly developed music recognition skills. So, At this point, you're probably wondering about the price, and you may even be scared that something so feature-rich like Ear Tutor may be out of your budget. After all, it gives you full control and freedom to train your ear at your own pace while adapting to your progress. Now, we originally thought about making it subscription-based like other tools out there. That means we charge a monthly or annual fee for you to use the ear conditioning program. Say $9 per month or $108 per year. And even at $108 for the year, Ear Tutor would be absolutely worth it in my humble opinion. I mean, let's think about it. $108 to transform your ear into a music recognizing machine, allowing you to eventually pick up anything you hear in a matter of seconds? Heck, sign me up, but I'm not going to do that, even though I think it's well worth it. So here's my price. For just a one-time payment of $67, Ear Tutor can be yours. No subscription, no annual renewal, just $67. But to sweeten the pot, I'm going to upgrade you to the multi-user version, which we will eventually charge $30 more for. That will allow multiple users in your household to log in and start their own ear training journeys. It will conventionally keep up with your individual progress, completions, and scores, and allows unlimited users. Without this feature, it'd be hard for multiple people to use the same program because one user's progress would overwrite the other, but not with multi-user mode. Imagine allowing your kids or spouse to get a head start on their ear training, making this a fun family affair. That's the upgraded multi-user version for only $67. But that's not all. To make this an absolute no-brainer decision, if you order today, I'll give you my national introductory price of $37, which is 45% off to celebrate the release of this revolutionary platform. That's a one-time fee of $37 for 775 exercises, 4 lesson families, multi-user access, 3 skill levels, and interactive virtual keyboard in practice mode. Click the big Add to Cart button now to get started. And to make this a no-risk proposition for you, here's my guarantee. If you don't like the software or anything whatsoever is not right, email or call us and we'll refund you 100%. And something I've never ever done before, I want to reward you for taking action. So if you finish all 775 lessons, listen carefully, we will actually give you the $37 back in the form of a credit towards any product we have. That means if you're truly serious, you can actually train your ear with Ear Tutor absolutely free with this offer. Click the big Add to Cart button now to get started. Here's what will happen next. Place your order at our website by clicking the button below, and once the transaction is complete, you'll be sent to our download center where you can download the Ear Tutor software. It's lightweight and will take literally minutes to download. Then start training your ears daily, progressing through the lesson family strategically designed to unlock your hearing of the music you so admire and love. Click the big Add to Cart button now to get started. The software works on both Windows PCs and Macs running OS 10.8 or higher. So what are you waiting for? Click the Add to Cart button now and start training your ears to hear music like the pros today. Click the big Add to Cart button now to get started.